What's going on, boys? So today in this video, I want to break down how I structure my diet. So this is how I eat around my training of lifting and running because right now I'm training for a 5K and I also like to put on muscle, be strong, do that hybrid athlete training split, which I think is the best way to go. And this is how I break down my foods throughout the day to fuel myself, recover properly, and make progress in both lifting and running efficiently. So let's break down what I do. So 6 a.m. wake up, this is pretty standard for me. It's not always 6 a.m. on the dot. I don't usually put an alarm on, but I just wake up at 6 a.m. because the sun comes up and that's when I'm up. So 6 a.m. comes around and then I do my morning habits, morning routine, get that done. And then around 7 a.m., I'm doing my pre-workout meal. This is for lifting. So before my lift, I'm gonna do around 250 grams of Greek yogurt, 100 grams of frozen fruit. It could be any frozen fruit you like. I usually do mixed berries, some sort of mixed berries, raspberries, mangoes are good, even cherries are pretty good. So anyone that you like, blueberries are good. And then 15 grams of honey and then some ground cinnamon sprinkled on top to top it off. Good for the insulin resistance, pretty good for that. So then that's my pre-workout. Gonna go hit the gym for about an hour. Right now, my day splits are chest, biceps, and forearms, shoulders, abs, back, triceps, and then legs and abs. What I found best to maintain and even grow while you're running. So definitely follow the split. I can make a breakdown on the split specifically as well. So stay tuned for that. And then after my lift, having that post-workout meal. And then there's a few things I like to check off in this post-workout meal. So usually I'll do around a pound of ground beef, and then in that same ground beef bowl, I'll do 100 grams of cooked white rice. And then on the side of that, I'll do a little protein shake. So give myself 1 scoop of whey protein, do a full cup of frozen fruit. Again, any frozen fruit that you like, and then a tablespoon of honey. And then I do omega-3 fish oil, and then creatine also post-workout. And this isn't always exactly what I do. Sometimes I'll have, salmon or some fish or whatever, but you do want the biggest protein and biggest calorie dense meal post workout after your lift because you're going to be the most susceptible to nutrient absorption after your workout. So that's when you want to have the most nutrients coming in. So the main things I do look for in the post-workout meal are high protein and then a mix of glucose and fructose. So you're getting glucose from the white rice and then the fructose from the fruit. And then honey is actually a 50-50 split of glucose and fructose. So it's really good for that. And then you want to have some sort of fish oil and then also salt this to taste. You do want some sodium in your post-workout meal as well. And then later in the day, whenever you do hit your run, gonna have that pre-run, I would say more of a snack. It's not really a meal because all I'm doing is spiking my insulin with some fruit or some honey, just some simple, fast digesting carbs to fuel my run. And then run for maybe 30 minutes to an hour on the high end. And then my post-run meal, usually some eggs. I like to finish the day off with some eggs. Very high nutrient dense meal. And then some sweet potato as well, some slow digesting carbs because I don't want to spike insulin too high. And it's going to replenish the glycogen for my next workout in the day tomorrow. So keeping it light, and then if you need to add anything to hit your daily protein goals, definitely add that as well. And then any micronutrient that you need, then definitely add that as well. And usually my days have around an 8-hour eating window. Not every single day is 8 hours. Sometimes it's 7, sometimes 6, sometimes even 12. But I always try to have a compressed eating window to maximize that insulin sensitivity, which is pretty much a cheat code for building more muscle and losing more fat, which I can also make another video on as well. But this is a pretty short one. This is what I do to fuel myself for lifting and running. If you guys like this video, drop a like, subscribe, and then stay tuned for other guides coming soon. But yeah, without further ado, let's go.